Will Harris zero in on what was missed last night? Now, I get it. If I heard Trump saying that and I was debating him, I would have let it go also. But Springfield, Ohio is a metaphor for what's happening in this country. People are underwater, and they are often being overwhelmed, like New York City, by migrants from a broken system.
Chris, the Trump campaign is a fundamentally unserious campaign. The fact that they would raise this issue when we all know that there was a solution for what's happening at the border. There was a bill that was negotiated by Chris Murphy, Kyrsten Sinema, and conservative Republican James Lankford. And what did Donald Trump do? He issued his clarion call to Republicans and made sure that they killed the bill because he wanted to preserve the issue as a campaign issue as opposed to actually fix the issue. So for him to then go out, forget the fact that he used this bogus story and made a fool of himself on that stage. Forget the fact that Tim is right now continuing to perpetuate this same nonsense. But for him to go out and use this story when the reason that we have these problems is because they're being entrenched by bad faith politicians who know that the problems can help them politically is a testament to everything that's wrong with politics.
But why isn't that true about Biden?
Hold on a second.
Hold on, Tim.
They
Tim.
didn't need legislation to undo the things that Donald Trump had done.
That's what I was going to say.
They unsecured the border by executive fiat.
Hold on.
They don't need legislation.
These are Band-Aid fixes. If you want actual solutions to these problems, have Congress pass an actual solution. You and I both know. Everybody on this panel knows. Everybody on this panel knows that if you want actual long-standing solutions to these issues at the border, it is not going to be bubblegum and paper clips that fix these things on a president-by-president basis. Have Congress actually pass legislation.
If that's true, it's still shame on you because they never tried to get this done until very late in the administration. The executive actions that he took, he could have taken early on. We both know that they gutted all those home country deals because that's what you do when you come in, is erase what happened, and that was playing to the progressive side of your party, but it was a mistake. And Biden waited too long. If he had put those executive orders in earlier, he would have eased the pressure there. He chose not to. Now there's a third issue, and this is why I wanted to bring you in here, Espina, not just because you're very handsome, but you understand the humanity and what is being done here. And I've heard you make the point, I'm kind of taking it from you. Even if people were doing desperate things there, which I don't believe is true, why isn't it looked at as what needs to be addressed for the human beings there and how they're being treated or mistreated? What do you see in the story about what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, as an advocate for migrants?
Well, one thing we need to look at is it a bad thing that 20,000 Haitians have gone to Springfield, Ohio in the past year or two? I mean, you look at Springfield, Ohio, it's a declining population. You look at the business owners there, they're saying, hey, the Haitians are good people, they're working, they don't have drug problems, they're doing good things. So this idea that Haitians are coming, what it really comes down to, honestly, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, they're scared of black people. You know, they can't say that outright. So now they have Haitians. Oh, what happened with the case with the whole cat? There was a case of a lady, she ate a cat. She was a U.S. citizen, but she was black, so they automatically said, oh, she's Haitian, and then this whole thing got started and it got out of control. So what it comes down to is a fear, and I think if you really look at it, it's an irrational fear because, yes, are there people who have come in over the past few years who are bad, who do commit crimes? That's true. We can't deny that. That's the reality. But to say there's millions of people or the 20,000 Haitians in Springfield are all criminals, they're all bad people, everyone knows that's not true. So we need to have a more nuanced conversation. Okay, how can we have, incorporate immigrants into our community, see the humane side, and yes, deal with those bad actors who are committing crimes. But like I said, anytime a migrant does something, it automatically gets attributed to every single migrant. We had a school shooting in Georgia a week ago. It was a young white kid, as it tends to be. We didn't see a mass attack on white people this past debate saying, hey, we got to deal with all these white kids who are doing school shootings. So why when a migrant commits a crime, all of a sudden it's millions and millions of migrants are all horrible people? I mean, we need to understand, yes, like in every community, there's good people, there's bad people, but as in every community, the good people are more than the bad people. That's just the reality.
Let me get a quick take from both of you guys, and I appreciate you all being here, especially after a late night last night. Tim, what is the lesson of last night? What does Trump have to do to reach out to the voters he needs, which is not just the base, got to have the base, independents who are undecided? He didn't do it last night. What does he need to do different?
Well, I'm going to come at that from a different angle. I think he did do that last night. If you look at the coverage from the New York, Well, if you look at the coverage from the New York Times and Reuters, where they had focus groups and they talked to people who had tuned in to see and hear from Kamala Harris because they know she's been hiding, they wanted to hear why she's running for president, what her plans are. They did not get that.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.